Well, I'm up a little bit earlier than normal for me. It's a chilly morning. Feels pretty good though. And ready to get going. Actually, I have a little bit of a plan worked out for the next day or two. We'll see how that works out. So I got this shot yesterday. The creek and the campsite are over there. Can you see the difference? It's kind of neat. Just a minute ago, you could see the cloud actually moving through. Anyway, whenever I checked the weather forecast a couple days ago, it said it was going to rain today. Yesterday, a couple of hunters said that it was supposed to be clear. I just ran into a couple of hikers that said that it's supposed to be clear. I've got the poncho at the top of the pack anyway. My Garmin just chirped to tell me it sent that message that I tried to send yesterday. I don't know what portion of sky it needed to see, but anyway, that 2 miles of up I didn't want to do yesterday, I'm doing it now. I want to say it was about 450 foot elevation gain per mile, but I feel a lot better now than I did at the end of the day yesterday. Coming up from that way. Going that way. Looks like I'm going to get into a cloud as soon as I cross over there. Coming from that way. I'm just about done with the uphill and my legs feel pretty darn good. Going up that way. Map says 60 foot of elevation gain in 1/10 of a mile, but I'm calling shenanigans. That's more than 60 foot. Well, I just did a video from there, but I think it looks different from up here. So I came from up there. The reflection off the lake, I think, is really cool. I'm getting ready to cross over there. I don't think I'm going to have much of a view. So I just crossed over, and this stuff up close looks pretty cool. I can't see anything far off. Now I get a little bit of, not really downhill, but little ups and little downs for a little while. Coming from there. And I know just the background music to use for today. Going around over there. Just came kind of off of a ridge over there. And it looks like threatening to get out from under the clouds. Well, I don't know. Looks like they're coming in from that way. Anyway, heading that way and over. Coming from there, finally getting a little bit of sunshine, and it feels good. Heading that way. Coming from there. Just going to assume you can see that cloud coming in. I'm heading that way. It's a pika. Coming from that way. That's some of the better looking water I've seen for a little bit. Going that way. I just finished the last of my water during my break. Not very far, and I'll be stopping to get water before I start uphill. Heading down that way. Last water for 5 miles. Kind of wished I filled up before I got into another cloud. Anyway, coming from that way. All right, 600 foot of elevation gain per mile for the next 1.25 miles. I'm not excited, but surely it's not going to be that bad just for 1.25 miles. Coming from that way, it's 1 o'clock. And all day the temperatures fluctuated between 40 degrees and 50 degrees. Going that way. When I'm in a cloud, it's 40. Whenever I'm out of the cloud, it's 50. I didn't wear my long sleeves because I really expected to warm up a little bit more than that. I was worried about getting them wet. And so instead of putting them underneath the brain of the pack, put them down inside the pack. Heading up that way. About halfway into it, making good time. Getting sweaty from the exertion. It looks like I'll be getting wet from the cloud too. No problem. I almost forgot to mention, when you know you're going to be hiking in clouds, it's a good idea to put a little extra wax in your mustache like I did this morning, or else it'd be looking all frazzled. Came from over there. I'll check the map again, but I might be at the top of that steep uphill. Which means I might cool off and have to stop and get out the puffy or the long sleeves. Because right now I'm plenty warm. And the thermometer says 40. Coming from over there. You know, I like big rocks. I'm going over there. From that way, I had just a minute of sun. And it looks like I'm getting out of a cloud. Or at least for a little bit. I think I can hear the highway down below. I'm going that way. And I can see the clouds already spilling over right there. This is Chinook Pass. And I'm blanking on the name of the road right now. Look, they've got a bridge to let the hikers go over the highway. And with a blind turn on either side, I'm glad they do. Well, this very rarely happens to me, but I apparently missed a turn and have gone at least 1/10 of a mile, if not a quarter, off the trail downhill towards Tipso Lake, which means I now get to go uphill and find where I left the PCT. It was right after I crossed the highway. How does that make me feel? Well, I came across there, and you can see a PCT sign on that side. And that's the way I went. And I bet this sign right here probably said PCT that way. And just for the heck of it, I think I'm going to go ahead and double check on my map again. That way, it's almost lightening up. I can see that mountain. You can't see that mountain. Coming from that way, trees are getting drippier. And at 2:15, thermometer said 45, and I figure that's about as warm as it's going to get. So I've got my long sleeves on, got the rain cover on to keep the pack dry, or as dry as it can be. Waited a little long. I might be stubborn, but here in a little bit I'm going to start some uphill. If I start sweating, I'll take the shirt off, or if it starts raining, I'll be taking it off and putting the poncho on. See, did I get that up there? Oh, here comes the clouds. Well, coming from over there, and it's dried out a little bit. Got about 1,100 foot in the next 2¼ miles. I'm gonna go up and then start heading uphill. And hopefully it's not all rocky. This is a gorgeous view. If if I'm only going to get one today. I felt like that cloud was chasing me. Going up from that way, and over there's where the highway was at. And here's a change. Going up that way. Well, this is Sheep Lake. Last water for about 8.5 miles. And I plan to camp in about 4. So I'm going to get some water. Now I've got another mile of uphill, 650 foot. I don't like carrying water uphill, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm still going up. Kind of neat watching the clouds spill over, pouring down. Coming up from that way. Heck of a view. Coming up from down there, going up, and I think I'm done. I keep checking on my way up the real steep ones, and last 1/10 of a mile said I had over 100 foot of elevation gain left, which would come out to 1,000 foot per mile. I still think that's cool. And here's the new view. I think I'm going to go over and then switch back and go over on this side, which just has the cloud blowing in. But coming from over there. I sure hope I find a dry spot to camp. It's beautiful though, ain't it? Coming from that way. And man, I'm glad this valley isn't full of cloud. I know I want to go about 1.5 miles and find a campsite. What I don't know is whether where that cloud's spilling through, is that closer than 1.5 miles or not. But I'm going that way. So, where I wanted to camp is called Bear Gap. And I looked at the map and yeah, that's where that's clouds coming through, so I have to refigure my plans. Coming from over there, it's 1.1 miles to Bear Gap. This is the only tent site marked in between here and there. And I'm right on the edge of where the cloud's coming through. Matter of fact, I don't know if you can see that, it looks like it's coming through right there. So, Because of the cloud, I can't see how far over. Maybe I'll go another mile and it'll be clear. Or I'll just be 1 mile deep into several miles of cloud. It's early yet. I'm going to look at my map some more and think about it. Wind shift a little bit. Fog, cloud, whatever, spilling over here too. And whereas the trail generally goes down, the ridge actually goes up. Now I think it might come back down whenever I get over to Bear Gap. But it's 5 o'clock. I've got time. I'm gonna go and just take my time and be careful, because it's not gonna be easy to see. Came around the corner over here, and I'm almost to Bear Gap. Going that way, and not really surprised. I figured I was going to be in a cloud either way anyway. Well, here's Bear Gap Trail. The PCT keeps on going that way. Or this is Bear Gap. Bear Gap Trails down that way. I came from that way, and I saw conflicting reports. People said there's tent sites. People said they suck. People said they had 3 tents in here. But I think it looks promising, so I'm going to look around and see what I can find. I do know that some of these trees were drippy, but over there was hardly any cloud at all. So let's see how creative I can get. Talked with those other hikers I had seen about Snoqualmie and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm right in between the 2 trails, and I don't think I'm going to see anybody else today. And it's getting colder and wetter, so I think I'm going to end the video here. Spend the rest of the day in the tent. I've got so much footage I'm going to have to cut from today. So much footage of clouds. Half the stuff I think I wanted to show you isn't going to show up, but it'll be all right. I'll see you tomorrow.